The Phoenix Suns have a lot of question marks with their roster this off season. And with Royce O'Neale being atop of the list as he is one of the key free agents to look out for with this squad, being a fantastic addition for them in the second half of the season, would it be a smart decision for the Suns to keep him? And are they thinking about keeping him? We'll be breaking down all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. Before we dive in on all of this Royce O'Neale news, 97% of you guys who watch our videos are not subscribed, so would greatly appreciate it if you guys enjoy the daily Phoenix Suns content to hit that subscribe button as we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. With all the news and rumors coming out with this team, this is the daily hub for you guys, so make sure to stay up to date. Without further ado, let's get into the topic at hand today. Make sure to grab a snack as it's going to be a jam-packed episode. And like I mentioned in the introduction, could Royce O'Neale be coming back to the Phoenix Suns? Now, obviously, they acquired him halfway through at the trade deadline, trading away 5 of their veteran minimum contracts, 2 of those guys being Yuta Watanabe and Chemez Metu, in to get Royce O'Neale, a solid 3-and-D wing. Was teammates with Kevin Durant over in Brooklyn, so had some chemistry with him, and ultimately could allow Kevin Durant to play that power forward position, his true rarely position at this point, and kind of slot into there, where Royce O'Neale could be that 3-and-D wing. He ultimately had a decent and solid second half to the season here. If we want to look at his season stats, we can see 7.7 points, 4.8 total rebounds, and 2.8 assists on 40% shooting from the field, 37% shooting from 3, and 69% shooting from the free throw. Now, obviously, came over in the second half, like I mentioned. Solid 3-and-D wing, but in the playoffs, did not have the greatest performances. If we want to look at his games during the playoffs, we can see he averaged 5 points, 4.8 rebounds, and 1 assist in those 4 games, and his shooting numbers were just not the greatest. Royce O'Neale is known for his three-point ability, his ability to score the basket, shooting 31% from the field and 33% from three-point range is not going to cut it, and it had a lot of Phoenix Suns fans in outrage. A lot of fans were disappointed, not really happy, and like I mentioned, Royce O'Neale is one of those guys at this offseason outlook. He is a key free agent. And with the Suns having a ton of salary committed already, being a second apron team, having guys like Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal making max contracts, the only way for this team to really touch around the edges is to look at some of these guys. Are they going to move off of them? Are they going to sign some more vet minimums? What other market? What are they going to do? And the top of the list is definitely Royce O'Neale. We want to look at this tweet here from the Phoenix Suns pod. We can get a little bit more of an update as they explain the Suns' offseason limitations as a second tax apron team and why re-signing Royce O'Neale is an absolute necessity and why people shouldn't be surprised if he gets a deal in the $13 to $15 million range annually. Now, in my personal opinion, I do believe that a guy like Royce O'Neale is worth the $13 to $15 million. And in Gerald, in this, video, if you want to check it out on Twitter, you guys can obviously go take a peek. But he broke down some key things for this Phoenix Suns squad in looking at Royce O'Neale. Now, obviously, the Phoenix Suns being a second apron team, you see 13 to 15 million annually, and you're thinking, oh no, I don't want to be strapped up to more money to this roster because we want to look at this team. We can see obviously Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal paid up at the top. Nurkic is making $15 million. After that, everybody else is making $8 million, $6 million, $5 million below that. And that's some difficult things. You obviously see Royce O'Neale is going to get a little bit of an extended payday as well. You might be freaking out and questioning some things, but I think that it's going to be A-okay. Royce O'Neale showed us in Brooklyn, has showed us with Utah that he can be a solid 3-and-D wing on a winning championship squad and fitting into a Mike Budenholzer offense and scheme who definitely fits and benefits with better offensive players. I'm sure Royce O'Neale is going to fit right in like a glove, be a solid 3-point shooter, and be an easy contributor with this squad. By adding Royce O'Neale as well and signing him to a contract around $13 to $15 million, it also makes the contract tradable. just in case Royce O'Neale doesn't turn out to be the type of player that the Suns want, or a better kind of fit or scheme for Mike Budenholzer's offense or for the Suns' direction and front office's direction to winning a championship does arise. They could use Royce O'Neale's contract to trade in that and get a better deal, something around that, because them being in the second apron, they obviously can't aggregate salaries, so it allows them to have another tradable contract, because as we do know, when we look at their roster, we can see they don't really have a lot of tradable contracts. Nurkic is really the only other one besides Nazir Little, which you have to attach draft capital. Might even have to attach draft capital to trade Yusuf Nurkic, and as we know with the Phoenix Suns, they don't have a lot of draft capital. The first round picks only become eligible on draft night. Their 22nd overall pick this year and their 2031. They only have 2 more second round picks. But after that, there's no more draft capital, nothing more to attach. So even if you do get some bad contracts in the future, you're not going to be able to shed off of them. You're not going to be able to trade off of them because you don't even have that draft capital. So ultimately, when looking at this, I think it is a smart decision to re-sign Royce O'Neale, just in case as well. If he doesn't fit out, you can trade him for a guy who's making, 12 or 11 mil and take even a little bit of a step back in the salary. But like I mentioned, looking at this Phoenix Suns outlook for the offseason, 209 mil committed already. What to watch? Is the ownership willing to continue to double down financially on the roster? It's looking like so because they want to keep the big three intact, and its rumors are all saying that they're going to be wanting to pay Royce O'Neale, which also gets to the second point, the cost to retain Royce O'Neale. Could it be what Gerald is saying? Could it be around 13 to the 15 million range? Could it be even a little bit more, around 16 mil, 17 mil? We'll have to wait and see. I do believe that the 13 to 15 mil range is fair for a guy in Royce O'Neale. Drop down below what you guys think. Do you guys think that that is a fair asking price? And then obviously finding value in the draft and free agency. We obviously know that they do have the 22 overall pick in this year's draft. But if you guys did miss our other videos and did not see, we have broken down how the Suns have, already kind of said they want to bring back Drew Eubanks in their first offseason move, and talked about some aggressive trades because they are willing and wanting to trade this draft pick that is the 22 overall selection and their 2031st first overall pick. So don't get attached to those picks, ladies and gentlemen. Those will be attached with and possibly some of these other free agents that have the player options. Guys like Eric Gordon, Josh Okogie, Drew Eubanks, they might get one of those guys to opt in to their deal and attach one of them to a contract or with a draft capital piece to get a better contract. But this gets to the point of the video where I kind of break down, is this smart? Is this the right idea for the Phoenix Suns? Should they bring back a guy in Royce O'Neale? And I'm going to say 100% correct. This is a brilliant idea. Like Gerald brought up and like we kind of talked about, if it does not work out, at least you have a tradable contract from the 13 to $15 million range to then get somebody else better that could be a better scheme fit, or even a player to take in a little bit less of salary so you can drop down from the second apron, because as we can see, the tradable contracts here with this squad, there are not a lot. We'll have to see what they do ultimately with Royce O'Neale, but again, I think he's seemingly going to fit in with this squad, being back with this team for a full season, playing alongside Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker. I think that's a fine lineup, getting them a rebounding center, having Grayson Allen come off the bench, and getting some key veteran defensive or role-playing pieces to help them out in the roles that they need. Rebounding, playmaking, setting up an offense, I think will be huge for this Phoenix Suns team. I'm all in for bringing back Royce O'Neale. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. And like I mentioned, if you guys do enjoy the content, check out the videos linked up the top. Hit the subscribe button and make sure to tune in to all of the videos. I'm Bruce Velez. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everybody. Have a great one.